Εξομολογήστε το Κύριο διαγατός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
Purges on their thinking and not their belief.
Well, I think your beliefs are formed somewhat by your thinking.
So that's what I'm trying to understand. Are you saying your religion influenced their belief and the religious system, their practices?
Why don't you give her the whole shebang, where Cyrus the Great wanted like political whatever and wanted that influence to be
I draw a lot from
incorporated into the
academia,
Bible.
and it can be like a 5-hour
No,
conversation.
let's do the shorter version, right? We have done that before.
So
I'm sure by now you have a shorter
There's an
version.
interesting point raised by Benjamin last week. The Sadducees were seen as a Hellenizing influence on the Jewish tradition. That means they were incorporating or taking a Greek approach to Jewish thinking. So I challenged him then, because he already rejected this idea that the Pharisees were influenced by Persian thinking. But if you're willing to accept that the Sadducees were Hellenizers, why would you not accept that the Pharisees were Persianizers? Because those were like the two main schools of thought at the time outside of the Jewish tradition. In fact, if you just Google translate the word Persian into Google Translate and get the Hebrew out, it comes out with Pharisee. It's the same word. The word they claim Pharisee comes from is perushim, which comes from a Greek word phariseos, which means set aside, which doesn't make any sense because the Pharisees were the custodians of the Jewish tradition. So I'm convinced that Pharisee means the Persianizers or the rabbis with Persian ideas. This is backed up in scholarship by, for example, there's a paper by a scholar by the name of Sebastian Cope-Habel. I can give you 50 examples, but that's one.
What I'm struggling
You want
with
to go back
is
to this belief?
what I'm struggling with is you keep saying thinking instead of belief, but because my problem with that is, like we were saying before, the sacrificial system, the offering, that was like the main part of their Judaism.
Yeah, I understand.
And so even though you're saying it had an influence on their thinking, it has zero connection to, as you've described, your religion. You have zero, in my opinion, you don't have a way of like atoning for sin. You even said that he believed that he was suspicious about this blood sacrifice,
It's
for
actually,
example.
yeah, so in Zoroastrian orthodoxy, there are rituals that appear very much like sacrifice, but I reject them. I think that they were pre-Zoroastrian practices that were reintegrated into Zoroastrianism. They were bolted onto the teachings of Zarathustra. I don't see them as being part of his teachings.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me attack this belief versus thinking.
Yeah.
Because in many ways I tend not to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I say thinking is because I also see these people as the scholars of their time.
Yeah.
However, it's harder for me to look into the heart of the average believer to say what they believed.
Yeah.
It's easier to know what they wrote down than to know what they thought or
Yeah.
what they believed. So, do Jews believe in heaven and hell?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But that's not reflected in the scripture.
In what way?
So my understanding is that in Israelite religion, they believed in Sheol, which is like a Hades-like place where the souls of both the good and the wicked go and wander kind of aimlessly. And there are some examples in the Bible of people drawing them out of this Sheol and communicating with them, but then they just return back to that place. It's not a place of heavenly reward or hellish punishment.
But what would be the point of atonement then if they didn't really believe in the heaven and hell?
We can get to that.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that at the basic level they believed in Sheol, not in heaven and hell. So where did this idea of heaven and hell emerge? Or when? My understanding is that this idea was being developed in the Persian period, in the Second Temple period, along with ideas like the resurrection of the flesh, an end of time, an end of history, like an end of days.
That's the judgment day, yeah.
Yeah, judgment day, so to speak, when the flesh will be resurrected. A developed concept of angels and demons. The idea of a devil figure in opposition to God's law. All of these ideas became developed in the Second Temple period. They don't. The idea of the resurrection of the flesh on an ultimate judgment day. Where would you point to the Old Testament to show me where that is?
No, there is. No, I mean,
think about
okay, King David talks about Sheol.
Yeah,
right?
I was saying
So if I go
Sheol
to Sheol,
no, but Sheol is not a reward or a punishment.
right? So
It's just a holding place. It's
but
just
then
whether,
now, where did you get that idea from? I mean, do you know that that's the definition of it in the Old Testament? Now, when King David was talking about the Sheol, say, if I go to the depth of Sheol, you are there, right? So if I go to hell, basically, you're there. If I go to the highest, places, you're
my
there.
understanding, correct me if you think I'm wrong, my understanding is that they believe that all souls go to Sheol until a certain period in their tradition where these new ideas about because even this idea of personal judgment is not an ancient Israelite idea. So the tradition was that the community would be judged collectively based on the righteousness of their leaders or of their king, if one was in place.
Wait, hold on. But then they had the sacrificial system.
Yeah, they
to
did.
atone for their sins yearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a collective basis or on a personal basis?
Well, it was on a basis like as a nation.
That's what I'm saying, collective.
Okay, collective.
Yeah.
So
But you believe in personal judgment?
no. Okay, let's come to that now. All of this stuff that you're talking about, they were looking forward to the time when this will happen, when the Messiah will come and will take care of all of these things. Because after he comes, he does the sacrifice. He says, now there's no more need for the sacrifice because he has done what was needed. And now if you are in Sheol, now it also says in the Bible, he went to Sheol, right? After the crucifixion, right? For the first.
But this idea you're talking about the expectation of a coming Messiah.
Yeah,
When does that arise? When does this expectation begin?
In Genesis. Now, his argument is these books are written in the second period,
Right.
and now he says Isaiah and all this stuff is written in the seventh. So his mentality is that all this stuff is like after the Persian influence. Even the Bible, the Old Testament, he says,
Yeah.
is written from the second period.
Not all of it. I'm saying there are many parts of it that are old.
What part? Because
But I'm
Genesis
saying-
is supposedly the first part, right? I mean,
Genesis
Moses.
is heavily redacted and edited.
Now, how do you?
Says
Now
who?
you make a strong statement, right?
Yeah.
So you have a strong evidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, but as you have the experience with me that if I say I have scholarly sources for these claims,
Now, I wouldn't say that I would always accept that scholarly
no,
because
but I
some of
always
that is
give you,
very
Yeah.
modern.
but I always give you sources.
Yes, you do.
So
and-
you'll have to assess those in your own time. But for me now to say the names of the scholars aren't even going to mean anything to you.
because the whole atonement story starts from Genesis, where after they sinned, they said one will come that will crush his head and he'll fight it. That's the prediction of Jesus at that
Right?
time.
But you're looking at it through a Christian lens.
No. But what lens should I be
But
looking
Jews
at?
don't look at it like that. So I'm saying it's not a universal view. But
Now, we have a Jew here. We could ask the Jew.
I've had
I
this
don't know
conversation
exactly.
with him
What was his answer?
I've got a video.
I'm curious.
You can watch my
Yeah.
video on Test the Claim.
Yeah, we'll watch it
But
on
you
Test the
did
Claim.
actually, I might be mistaken, but you said this Persian influence came, if you look at our, you said it came after Moses.
No, it came
No.
after.
Hold on. First of all, I'm saying it came. So the teachings that I'm referring to
Yeah,
were thought to have been authored
Yeah.
in the time when Moses is thought to have lived.
oh, in
But-
the time you thought, okay.
Yeah, but I
when
don't
was the
consider.
time- what was the time
I don't
of-
consider Moses a historical figure.
What?
It might be mythological.
Mythological.
Or
So
legendary.
when was the first temple built? Who built the first temple?
Solomon,
Solomon. And when was that?
allegedly. I don't know, like 900 BC or something.
Okay, because
Allegedly.
I think your time, line is kind of off because you keep saying second temple, right? Because
Yeah.
the second temple I believe, was built like 500. You say?
Around 500. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make too much sense because the books were written before, So history goes like back to Abraham, right? At least when it talks about Abraham and what happened to Abraham and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When was Abraham then, historically
But
speaking? Right?
talking about Abraham doesn't make it from the time of Abraham.
I see. So how do you, how do you talk about Abraham if you're talking about his life? Where do you get his history from? I'm
I don't
curious.
consider it history.
Okay,
I consider it mythology.
mythology. Right. So then, when we look at Sumeria and we look at that part of the world where they did have this connection from the Bible, where they have the Tower of Babel or all these other things that were mentioned in the Bible, connected to Sumeria, Babylon. Yeah. So all this is historical as well. So Bible is historical.
I'm not saying that everything in the Bible, that
And
everything
that
that's
goes
mentioned
back
in the Bible is
6,000
not.
years. Not Sumeria goes back 6,000 years.
So I agree that the Bible does mention some things that we can attest to historically.
Well, then that's my claim is like, if okay, it cannot be like, okay, some things are historical and other things are made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, either all things are made
So
up.
the things that
or-
the things that I would say are historical are the things that through the historical method we can verify.
What method is that?
Like the assessment of archaeological evidence, independent sources, like independent contemporary sources, so other people talking about the same events. But where there is a narrative that only appears in one location, i.e. the Bible, with no extra biblical evidence, no archaeological evidence,
Archaeological, I would argue that is for let's say King David.
what was Abraham? Let's talk about Abraham first. Let's go
Okay,
chronologically.
If you start with Abraham, my argument there would be archaeologically speaking, we have like places where they worship the stones and stuff back where he came from. The Turkish and what is that border of Turkey, Iraq, and all that area in the north of Iraq,
You're talking about
where
Ur
the
of the
rivers
Chaldees.
are. Huh?
You're talking about Ur of the Chaldees. Isn't that what Abraham said to
Yeah, Ur. Yeah, that's the name of the city.
I mean,
right?
the location of Ur even then is somewhat speculative. Some people say it's the city of Uruk. Some people say it's probably in the southern Mesopotamia or southern
But
modern day
the
Iraq.
point is that it is historical,
The place.
the place, and there is okay the story of Gilgamesh, right? That story is historical,
Based on
and it's
what?
in the Bible too.
Based
It's
on
the
what?
same story. Gilgamesh story is on the tablet.
Why does that make it true?
What do you mean? You asked for
You're
historical
talking about a
evidence.
tablet where
gave
people
you,
said Gilgamesh did these like
No, there's a
these
cer-
supernatural things.
Hold on. Gilgamesh story talks about the flood story and the boat and the people on the boat.
The Epic of Gilgamesh
Yeah.
refers to a deluge. You're saying.
Deluge and talks about the boat
And then we see
people
that
on the
replicated
boat.
in the Bible, and you think that that makes it true.
No. I'm just saying. Okay, you said these stories are just in the Bible. Didn't you just say that? There are no other
Mythical.
sources for it. Now I'm
Mythical.
giving him another source
No, but we were
outside
talking
of Bible.
specifically
Yeah.
about
Of
Abraham.
something-
You did
Look.
say contemporary sources.
Look,
though,
I gave you-
outside
No,
of
no,
the-
hold on.
yeah.
I said independent accounts, contemporary. But the account of the flood in the Bible is not contemporary to the flood.
What are you
It's
talking about?
recounting something that happened far, far, far in the past. Or do
Well,
you think someone was watching the
I-
flood
I was
going,
trying to-
hold on, there was a flood? No, it's talking about
It's a
a much
universal
older story.
The flood story is very universal. It's like on all the ancient histories they talk about this flood. Even in the Americas they talk about it.
Yeah.
Even the ancient Americans
Yeah.
they talk about the flood.
Hold on. First of all, I'm not denying that floods have happened. Like, for example, do we all agree that the Earth experienced an ice age?
Yeah.
Okay, and so when the ice melted, the water levels changed and so on, right? It could be talking about that. It might be. But
Well,
what I'm saying is where you give it theological significance, where you start attributing the God that I recognize sent this thing and told these people to do X, Y, and Z, that's where I start to ask for better evidence. So
Yeah,
even if we said yes, there was a global flood, which I don't necessarily agree with, but even if we could agree on that, you then imposing a supernatural theological narrative onto it is a different thing and requires a different
All I was
different
doing
level
was
of
giving you
evidence.
outside source for something that is mentioned in the Bible. Ancient stuff. That's all I was trying to do.
And I said, I conceded already that I'm not saying everything. The
But what
Bible
I'm-
does
what I
recount
would say to
historical
that is-
events, but I only consider them historical if I can attest to them historically through the historical method.
But my counter argument is that you can't pick and choose and say these things are okay, but those things are not true.
I'm saying okay, let me put it like this. I believe that Cyrus the Great existed because of the weight of archaeological evidence, independent corroboration for his existence.
What is the archaeological evidence for Cyrus?
The Cyrus
the Great?
cylinder? It's literally an inscription from his time mentioning him by name.
Okay, because this Gilgamesh story is also on a cylinder.
We can
right?
get to that.
Okay, fine.
Not from the time of Gilgamesh. That's the problem you have. That's the problem you have. So I'm saying we can attest to Cyrus historically. He's a historical figure. A, because there are artifacts bearing his name from his time, but there are also independent accounts. Like
How do you know it's from his time? Just answer that
Yeah, I was
question.
gonna
Because it's
ask that.
depicting events.
No, hold
And
on,
it's
hold
saying
on.
I do.
Now
it's
you're talking
in the
about double standards.
It's talking in the first person. It's already been.
First person meaning it's saying
I'll tell.
I,
let me
Cyrus
finish
the
my
Great.
answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it says I, Cyrus the Great.
Okay.
First of all, it's in the first person.
Ah.
It mentions him, who he is, the events that took place, so we
Yeah.
can then locate it in time. It talks about the people around. It gives us information about what's happening there. Also, it's found in the place where we expect to find it. It was dug up in the ruins of Babylon. Also, the people, even the Jewish people, recorded the same events, which corroborate what's written on the archaeological evidence. So when I say independent accounts, the Jews are independent. The different accounts of different peoples in that region all attest to his actual
Was there anything
historical
found
existence.
about Cyrus talking about the Jews or the temple? Because
Only
he
in the-
freed those
only in the-
people.
Only
That's a
in the
big deal.
scriptures of the Jews.
Sorry? Okay, so it's not in any other independent sources. So why didn't you believe that even happened? Because it's only mentioned in the Bible that Cyrus the
I
Great
don't-
freed those people.
Yeah.
Do you not believe that he freed those people, the Jews, from Babylon,
I believe he freed all the captives from Babylon.
including the Jews?
So if there were Jews
Do
there,
you
including
believe in
the Jews.
Daniel then?
What does Daniel say about it?
No, but Daniel was in Babylon, right?
That's what his book claims.
See, this is the thing. He would say certain things are fine and certain things are fictional. Now, how does he know which one is
But the
fictional?
thing is, you can't even deny that Cyrus is historical because you'll be denying your own Bible.
I'm not denying it.
Okay, I'm saying for these reasons.
All I'm saying is
I
you're
can
not consistent. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I've given you lots of types of evidence for Cyrus, right? The archaeological
You don't
evidence,
have to give me.
the independent.
I already believe in that.
I know,
Cyrus
but I'm
created
saying I've given you a list of criteria. How I establish someone is historical and not mythological.
Right. Okay.
Okay, now give me the same for Daniel. Give me archaeological evidence for Daniel. Give me independent reports of Daniel. You can't, so why
But
would I
what
say
is
he's
the-
historical?
Can I ask what is the point of the? Are you trying to prove that? Are you trying to prove that Judaism is just sort of an
It's a
extension?
fabrication, he
A
said.
fabrication, or it's like a sect that sort of came out of your religion.
No.
Or yeah.
No, he's made that mistake as well. Israelite religion is a thing.
Right.
They had their beliefs, they had their scriptures, and so on. However, during the Second Temple period, that religion, established religion, received a significant amount of reform. So, new ideas which now Christians believe are foundational, like the resurrection of the flesh, like personal judgment after death, like many of the themes I've already talked about, were infused into Jewish thinking, belief.
But you have no concept of atonement, which
Exactly.
is major
That
in
is what his
Christianity.
weak point is. If he makes this
I
argument,
didn't
he
say
can't
every
argue that.
theme in Judaism.
But that's
was
the main.
Atonement
Is
is the main thing.
Is
The
the
whole
main
Bible
thing
is all about the Messiah who's going to come
being
and atone for your
reconciled
sins.
with
That's not
God.
what they believe. That's what the Jews believe. That the
pre-Christ.
whole Bible is about the Messiah.
Jews believe in the sacrifice, do they not?
Hold on. You're talking
Do
about
they not have a
Messiah.
sacrificial system?
They don't believe that a human being will come and be sacrificed for their sins.
No. Okay, listen.
You
to
believe that.
this. No, listen.
But
to it.
the problem we have is we're talking about a scripture which is both
So
considered.
where did we get
which
this
is
idea?
considered.
Okay,
hold on. We're talking about scripture which is considered holy both by Jews and by Christians, right?
Okay, fine.
So I'm saying there are a significant number of people,
Good.
the originators of those scriptures,
I'll go
who
with you.
don't view them the way you do.
I'll go with you, okay? Tell me then, if they are getting this influence from your side, right, then where did the Christians get this idea of a personal savior coming down for sacrificing? Where did that idea come from?
My understanding is that the idea of an eschatological savior figure does come from Zoroastrianism.
That
Okay,
can't
now
be.
he makes that
No,
claim.
Yeah.
hold on. The
But that was
hold on.
not adopted. Now, how
The
come that idea?
the sacrificial aspect of it is not that I do not recognize that as Zoroastrian.
Okay, but you have a Messiah figure in Zoroastrianism.
I believe that that's where the idea of a coming Messiah
Coming
figure
Messiah
at the
figure.
end of time,
End of
at
time.
the end of history, because you believe Jesus comes back at the end of
Well,
history.
but
right?
that's the second coming. I'm talking about the first coming.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about that coming.
No, I'm not. So we're talking about two different things. I'm not talking about the
I'm
last
talking-
coming
so,
or the second coming.
let
I'm
me just
talking about the
clarify.
first coming.
The idea of a messianic savior figure
Yeah.
for all mankind
Yeah.
coming. I
Saving
I
from
see it as
what?
coming at the end of time.
Saving from what?
Where did it originate from? Because if
Yeah.
Judaism took this reform
From evil.
ideas from you, from the Zoroastrianism, then how did that?
Hell. Yeah, as well.
How did that? Because Jesus was a Jew, right?
Yeah.
So then he would have the influence of your philosophy on him, right? The same thing, because he was a Pharisee. He was a rabbi, so he was discussing with Pharisees, so he would have himself been a rabbi. Yeah? Well, he wasn't a Pharisee. I wouldn't say he was a Pharisee, but I would say that he was a rabbi. Okay? So I'm gonna correct myself here. So if he had this very thorough understanding of Judaism, because he used to debate the Pharisees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means he had the
he
real
was rebelling against
understanding. Yeah, he had the real understanding of Judaism. Yeah? Because he could debate all these
Pharisaic
Pharisees,
Judaism.
whatever he could. So you mean he could not debate Sadducees? Of course he could. But anyhow, the main
he
thing
could,
is
yeah.
it. Yeah. The main thing is that he has given us this idea that his blood is a sacrifice for us. Yeah. But he refers everything back to the Old Testament. He says, "I am that. I am this. I am this from the Daniel. I'm this from Psalms 110. I'm this from the
And to
original
fulfill the
sin."
law.
Because of the in Genesis, so he's referring everything back to the Old Testament,
Right.
which is written hundreds and thousands of years before,
Okay.
and all pointing to him. So now that
I'm sorry, what did you
discounts
say?
your
Hundreds of thousands of years.
Huh?
Hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
No one claims that. Hundreds and thousands.
Well, a couple of thousand if you want to go that.
Yeah.
I would say thousands because it's at least 4,000
I
years.
thought you said hundreds of thousands. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, so thousands of years or hundreds of years before him. So that means that there was this concept that he was trying to clarify. Now the thing is, it's okay. Well, listen, you gave
The
your.
Pharisees believed in a coming Messiah figure at the time of Jesus.
Yeah, but they didn't know that he was going to be a sacrificial Messiah.
Yeah.
He didn't know that. They just thought that he's going to come and save them from
The
all this
Romans.
oppression and give them supremacy.
Okay.
That's the idea. Okay?
The
And give us
Pharisees
back
believed
the power that we have been.
Sorry, hold on. You're saying the
David.
Pharisees didn't believe he'd be sacrificial.
Yes,
That makes sense to me.
that's right.
Because Persian thinking didn't incorporate.
Well, then Jesus
blood
told
sacrifice.
them you are the sons of viper, the snakes, and all that other stuff that he told them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
that
that's
would
the
make
Chris-
sense.
That's the Christian view.
But the problem
You're
is.
saying it like, oh, but that's
Yeah.
the truth.
You're- you-
No.
You believe it's the truth because Jesus said it, or because you believe Jesus
But-
said it.
But wait a minute, the concept that somebody is based his life on and everything has to have some meaning, right? If he's come and saying, I'm coming here to give my life as a sacrifice, if he doesn't know what he's doing, either he's crazy or he's telling the truth. So either one of the two things, right?
Which one are you asking me? Which one I think?
I wouldn't bother that because I already know. It just, well, you wouldn't be talking to me if you knew what the. Because the thing is this: the Pharisees, they asked him, "Are you the son of the living God?" And he says, "Yes, I am, and you'll see me coming on the cross." And they said, "Crucify him. He's a blasphemer."
Right.
Right? Now they didn't believe that, right? That he is the sacrificial. He is coming to. It is the work of God was to for Jesus to come and do the sacrifice.
But they didn't
right?
believe he fulfilled the criteria
Of course.
in terms of their expectation of the.
Of course, they
their
wouldn't, yeah,
Savior.
because
Right.
they were thinking that he's going to bring back the glory of Solomon or David or
But they have a
something like
list
that.
of criteria which he didn't fulfill.
No, he did.
No, like that all the Jews live in Judea.
What?
Is it? Aren't they all? Isn't one of their expectations that all the Jews will return back to the Holy Land?
All the Jews. No, where does it say that? Yeah, he might have brought something
That's
up.
one of his
No, no,
beliefs.
it's Jewish.
That
thing.
Talmud.
Yeah, that's the Talmudic stuff. Judaism. So now, let me ask you something. I have had debates with Jews on and off screen. Joseph and I have had debates. You can go and watch my debates with him. Jews have two sources of their faith.
The scripture and the oral tradition.
And the oral tradition.
Yeah.
Now the oral tradition is what Jesus condemned.
Right.
Said you have made the traditions of your father over the word of God or something to that effect is what Jesus told them. So that oral tradition is very, very, has a lot of
So
things
where's
in
heaven and hell, resurrection of the flesh, in the scripture?
It's all a fulfillment of the sacrificial system and the fulfilling the prophecy of the Old Testament.
Yeah, but where are those themes in the
There
Old
are
Testament?
I've told you those themes are in the Old Testament. Like I said, in Psalms, David talks about the Sheol and when my soul. If
Well, he
I
told you
go
when
to
the
Sheol,
Psalms were written.
so now he's trying to say, when did the Psalms are written? What do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
They weren't written in the 9th
When were they
century,
written? When were the Psalms written?
in the Second Temple period.
When the 500 years BC.
Yeah.
Okay, when was David period? I believe it's like
It's alleged to have been like 900 BC.
900 BC. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right. So just
I'm
because
basing
you're
this
saying
on linguistic analysis, by the way. So I'm not just making it up. I can
fine.
I can give you
So,
sources.
so if it is an older idea, and then now you're saying that no, it started in 500, and I'm saying it was before 500 BC that David had this idea about the Sheol and everything, and it's in the Bible, then that means that this whole idea was pre-existing before you guys came along. You
Yeah.
had nothing. Now,
How?
because it's older than your claim. Now, how do you say that? Oh, because of the linguistical whatever, you're going to say it's 500 years, based on just that. But now, if you ask the Jews, now you pointed to the Jews. If you ask the Jews, they will tell you that hey, our Bible has, like the Muslims say, has a isnad. Isnad, you know what that means? Like everybody who's passes
Like a chain of
down,
narration.
chain of narration. So now they have chain of their rabbis.
But you reject it from the Muslims, but you're saying that the Jewish
No.
Isnad
I'm
is
just because I'm just tell you that
is
this is
reliable.
what the Jews, because you brought up the Jews. Now the Jews have this tradition that hey, our existence has been continual, and we have this continual history.
I don't believe that.
He doesn't believe the Jews have a
When did
continual history.
okay?
So
If okay, let me put it like this. If I think it's in the book of Ezra, where the Persian king says, "Go and I command you to go and teach the law." To Ezra, are you familiar with that?
no, I'm not familiar with that. You'll have to pull it up.
How you doing? Good.
Sam,
Hey,
how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice
I
one.
always like to see the reunion of old friends.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, you were going to show me the passage. Oh well, okay. Don't have to show it
Because
to
I can
me.
just give like a synopsis.
Yeah,
I
go
can look
ahead.
for it
Go
while
ahead.
you're.
Where
I can look for
Ezra receives the command to go and teach the law.
From whom?
You're not gonna
But
like
you
this.
know what I noticed as well is you said in your religion you had this idea where God will judge you by your good deeds and your bad deeds.
Yes.
But when it came, I'm going to bring it back to the atonement again of sin. It's a completely different concept. It's not good deed, bad deed. It's atoning. When you atone for your sin, it's to save you from something that's going to happen.
Damnation. I know. No, okay, maybe we're misunderstanding something here. I don't believe that Christianity is just a regurgitation of Zoroastrianism. I'm saying that there are themes in Christianity, foundational themes, that are first found in Zoroastrianism,
Foundational things like
you believe in the resurrection of the flesh.
we believe that Jesus resurrected, but when you say foundational, we
I mean,
found
important.
our foundation is that we need to be justified before God, and that only comes through the atonement God brings through the blood of Christ.
Okay, so maybe
So-
foundational is the wrong word, but important themes. Like resurrection of the flesh. I know, okay. Blood sacrifice is not foundational in Zoroastrianism.
Exactly.
So there
Yeah.
are clear differences.
Yeah.
If there weren't differences, it would just be Zoroastrianism, but it's Christianity clearly.
But that's a very big, like
And
when you
the
talk
whole
about
Christianity
foundation.
is based on the blood sacrifice
Yes.
of Jesus. That's basically what it is, right? That's the main theme of Christianity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but there's lots of other themes that are discussed in your scripture.
Okay, so everything that Christianity has comes from the historical Jewish view. And now the Jewish view, if you go to the Genesis, he says, the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. So the death is
We're flying around the Bible here. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so
Do you
what
wanna go
I'm
there?
saying is that the whole thing is established in the Genesis. All these concepts that you're talking about, the sacrificial concept is also mentioned there. All this stuff is mentioned in the
But you're
Old
making
Testament.
inferences on a passage in Genesis, assuming that it means you'll die spiritually.
No,
from the
you
moment
just
you eat that
physically, meaning that death will come to you, not at the moment you eat it, but since you are immortal currently, you will become mortal.
Where does it
basically.
say that?
It's in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament.
What's the passage? Hold on, did he
It's
bring
a-
the Ezra?
No, he ran away. He gave up. It's in the Genesis 3:15, I believe, is the reference. My phone is
All right, let me
dying.
try and find the Ezra one.
Oh man, are we gonna? Okay, let me put the charger back on there. Now you remember when God said to Eve, right?
Yes.
When he was giving them the commandment that the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. That was
Yeah.
to Adam, right?
Yes.
So that's in the Bible. So that's what he's asking. Where is that in the Bible, right? That means that he was created. So do you think that Adam was created mortal or immortal when he was created first?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. Yeah, let's ask you.
I don't ascribe to the Adam
Oh, you don't ask.
narrative.
What do you think of that?
Mortal.
Adam, when he was created, do you think that he was created mortal or immortal?
Mortal.
Then why would God say that you would surely die if he was mortal?
Maybe I'm not understanding the question.
Okay, no worries. I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do you want me to find the verse for you?
Check this out. Yeah.
What?
This is from a. Because I keep saying scholarly, academic. I tend to favour academic perspectives.
Yeah.
Because they tend to be more secular. They look at things for, like, in terms of context or in terms of linguistics and so on. But this is one of my favourite scholars as well, actually. It just happened to be the first. One of
I'm
the
sure
first-
is he a Christian?
I just searched Persian king because I know it was a Persian king who instructed Ezra to go back to the Holy Land and teach the law. Go back to Judea and teach
Can
the
you
law.
give me is this a
The
scholar
the
that you're talking about? Is he a
Mosaic
Christian?
Yeah.
No, the scholar
Torah.
you're talking about, who wrote this, is he a Christian?
It's a she.
She.
I don't think she's a Christian.
Okay, is she an atheist?
I don't know.
Probably.
Well, I mean, yeah. okay.
You have to be intellectually sincere, though.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm
but you're
trying to
making
figure out-
judgments about a thread
If somebody has a
purely
Bible-
because I'm drawing upon it.
Okay, if I'm a Muslim and I'm writing about a Christian theology or something, and I put in my thoughts, it's a biased opinion.
Okay, so then if I take a Jewish scripture and I ask a Christian for his opinion on it, can I reject that because it's not a Jewish opinion?
Of course you can.
All right, what we doing here?
No, what?
You're drawing upon Jewish scripture
I'm
to
not-
support your religious
Wait
claims.
a minute. Are you saying? Okay, I am a Jew. I'm a reborn Jew. How's that? How's that?
Is that your
Jesus
position?
was a Jew, right? Okay, if my leader of my religion is a Jew, then shouldn't I be a Jew? But doesn't that make me a
I
Jew?
actually have this book. Ezra and the Law. This is from a book called Ezra and the Law. Just a very brief synopsis.
Okay,
The
fine.
historical Ezra was sent to Jerusalem as an emissary of the Persian monarch. I still haven't given you the script, the
Biblical
reference. I'll give it to you in a minute. According to the Bible, the Persian king sent Ezra to bring the Torah, the 5 books of the laws of Moses, to the Jews. Modern scholars have claimed not only that Ezra brought the Torah to Jerusalem, but that he actually wrote it.
Who wrote it?
And in so doing, Ezra created Judaism.
Ezra created Judaism.
This is the view. Why are you laughing?
Because it's. Have you given
Because
this?
it
have you
doesn't
told this
align
to a
with your
Jew?
beliefs.
Have you shown this to Joseph? Have you done that?
I'm sure he's aware of it.
No, he's not. I'm sure he's not.
I have this book.
Well, then mention this to the Jew and see what he's going to tell you. And I'll tell you what he's going to tell you. Is that, look,
You know what you
this
should
stuff...
do before you make a judgment? Read the book.
Have you read the book I've asked you to read? If you read
I've
that
done
book...
some research.
No, if you read... No. I didn't ask you to do... I'll do some research too on this. If you read what I've given you, then I'll read this.
Everything's so conditional with it.
Come on, man. You can't just tell me to read a book and I give you the book that shows you clearly that Jesus
reading
is
these books at the
God,
moment.
then you don't read it. And it's a
let me
book
find the
that
book of
I'll
Ezra.
tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting book. But now the thing is that the story of the 3 magi.
Yes,
You see,
yes.
that's why I have this connection to him, is because I was always curious about Zoroaster, because they were coming from Iran. And then a lot of people say that they were Zoroastrian because they were into astrology.
Yeah.
Now we call it astrology, but I said,
Yeah. Should I join in a bit?
oh, are you a Jew?
I'm Jewish. Yeah, no, I know him. I know.
No, I know. Yeah. All right.
Cyrus
Well,
the Great.
we could use your input. If you'd like to join us, you can stand
Yeah,
here
yeah,
with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
You don't mind being on camera, do you?
No.
You
That's it, man. He came in because there was a camera.
Yeah. It's okay.
I don't mind being on Cyrus's camera because he's the grape, so it's no
right.
problem.
Yeah.
Cyrus
Well,
the
this is
Great.
not his camera, by the way.
Oh, whose camera is it?
It's a Christian camera.
Okay, a second.
Is it okay? All right.
yeah.
Now, can you answer his claim that you guys are Ezra created Judaism on the behest of the king of
Have you
Persia
heard
or
the idea?
something?
Have you heard the?
Yeah, I've heard
hypothesis?
the hypothesis from Cyrus the Great.
Have you heard it from me?
Yeah, only from you. I've only heard
Can
from
you show him that book? Pull out that book.
Oh,
I was
it's
looking
called
for it.
Ezra
Yeah,
and
so
the
you
Law
both Christians?
Yes.
Okay.
by Elizabeth S. Freed. Anyway, just trying to find something else.
So I mean, to me, I know Cyrus, and he's mentioned it a bunch of times, and we discussed it a few times. I couldn't really understand. The thing is, I don't have that much interest. I didn't really research it, but I'm more just curious to know about it. But I would say I'll give you just the background of what we understand as growing up, and that is that okay. So fine. So you have Moses. Moses took the Jews out of Egypt. Right, and then they got the Torah on Mount Sinai, right, and that happened. I'm gonna say about 3,000 years ago. I don't know.
No,
Let's
I
say
don't think so.
2,800, 2,500, 1,500, not 1,500.
I think
Jesus
it's
was
about it. Okay, go
Jesus
ahead.
was 2,000 years
No,
ago.
I mean BC.
Oh.
BC.
BC. Yeah, it's 1500 BC. Okay, so that's 3,500 years ago. Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. And then, so Ezra was much later. Ezra was like Second Temple period. So you're talking about 700 BC. It's like a good 700.
No, but his claim is
No,
kind
but
of
you
saying that
need
the
to
whole
understand-
concept came together in the Second Temple period. So how did the even temple exist if this whole concept wasn't there?
That's my
You
question.
have to
yeah.
take a nuance. You have to take a nuanced view. So I'm saying there had already been a Torah. Okay.
What does that mean? What is the Torah? What do you say?
The 5
Torah?
books of Moses.
The 5, including Genesis, Deuteronomy, and all that.
Okay. So when you're defining Judaism, it sounds like what you're saying is it's called rabbinic Judaism. That's what was defined as rabbinic Judaism.
Oh, so you mean the oral tradition?
Yes, you're talking about rabbinic Judaism. Because when people say Judaism, they mean.
He's saying that he's a revisionist. He's saying that your whole books were written
Let me
in
say
the
what I
second.
wanna say.
Go ahead.
No,
what
we
I'm
want to
saying.
say what you want to
Let
say.
me say what I'm
Go
saying.
ahead.
No,
Yeah?
I want to say. Okay.
I'm not saying there were no Jewish teachings or traditions or beliefs prior to Ezra. I'm not saying that Ezra just imagined Israelite religion. I'm saying there was a religion in place. However, during the exile, the Babylonian exile,
No, but just can we repeat that? The 5 books of Moses was before Ezra. Just clarify. I don't
Yes.
want to. So that's clear. Okay. Go
I'm
on,
saying-
continue.
I'm
I
saying-
just wanted to make sure 100%.
I'm saying they're set before Ezra,
The 5 books of Moses were set for Ezra. Yeah, go on.
set before Ezra. But I'm saying no one was in possession of the 5 books of Moses at the time of Ezra. Ezra himself didn't have a copy.
Jew, can you say something to this?
Well, let him finish. He's in the middle of a sentence.
Ezra
Let him-
receives a
let him-
command from Artaxerxes, the Persian king, to go back and teach the law in the Holy Land, in Judea. Now, the theory proposed by Elizabeth S. Freed is that Ezra wrote the Torah based on the original, but with a heavy editing or redaction to somewhat reform Jewish belief.
Well, see that you can't do that. You can't say that the 5 books of Moses existed and then say Ezra rewrote the 5 books of Moses, because we don't know how much it's changed. You have to call it a different name, because the 5 books of Moses is word by word, letter by letter. There may be one letter which is, maybe like some people don't have, but pretty much every single letter of that book, those 5 books, is exactly the way it is, the way we have it. So
Wait,
if you're saying,
since when?
well, it's the same for every
Since
book.
the time of Moses.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
That's what's important here.
no, but what I'm saying is, all Jews have the same 5 books of Moses. So if you go to somebody, right, that's have a tradition for thousands of years ago, and you go and you go to another tradition, right, and you match them up, they're exactly the same. Now, how far that went back, if it's 2,000, or if it's 2,300, or if it's 3,000, I don't know. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is, it's word for word. So when you say 5 books of Moses, that's what we're talking about. So if now you say there was a 5 books of Moses existed, but it was redacted, you don't know how much. So it could have been a totally different book. It doesn't, right? So then it's not the 5 books of Moses. That's why I asked you a few times.
I'm saying-
are you saying that 5 books of Moses existed before? So do you understand what I'm saying?
My understanding is that
Yeah.
Ezra's authorship
Yeah.
was designed to appear to be the 5 books of Moses.
But it's
Which
a
I-
very
which-
strange
which I-
view. Because I'll tell you
Okay.
why it's a strange view. Because if you're saying that he copied a 5 books of Moses, right? Then it's like, okay, how do you know that there was a 5 books of Moses before that? Like, if you were to say, oh, he copied some book, that's an interesting
It's called the Torah.
argument.
It's called the Torah in this passage.
Okay, fine. Let's start from there. Where are you getting this from? Where do you get this from? Go on.
Show him the book. Show him that book, what you just showed
Well, I
him.
can't read the whole book.
The
Just
theory.
give me-
just
It's from
show
a
him.
book called Ezra and the Law by Elizabeth S. Freed.
Okay, but go on. Why do you believe that there was a 5 books of Moses before Ezra and
Because
that it
that
was
lady
redacted?
said so.
No, but how? No. Why do you
I'll tell you
believe
why.
that?
So my understanding is that based on like textual analysis,
Yeah.
parts of the Torah
Yeah.
are thought to be very old,
Yeah.
but there are also parts that
Match up to the second
reveal
period.
the analysis of which reveal that they are from a much later age of authorship,
Okay.
and that it appears to be a certain degree of patchwork between old and less old.
Okay.
Whereas if it was all authored in one phase or by one person,
So let's accept that it was not.
you would expect it to
Yeah.
be much more uniform.
Yeah, okay, fine. So let's say I have a theory, for example, that in the time of Moses, or at least, maybe 200-300 years around that period, right, they gathered a bunch of texts from previous religions, right, and then they made the 5 books of Moses, right? And then, yeah, let's say I have such a theory. But by the time of Ezra comes, yeah, it's already there. And Ezra maybe is a scribe for some other stuff. Because after the 5 books of Moses, you've got a whole load of others.
But where are the
right?
scrolls
Where are the scrolls of what?
from at the time of Ezra? Because
Which
the
scroll?
temple had been destroyed,
Yeah.
and isn't part of the narrative that the people have forgotten their religion, like during the exile.
That I have to look up. That I'd have to look up. See, here's the thing. You'd have to look at the context, because you could say that people have forgotten it,
Yeah.
but there's still a minority that haven't forgotten it, right? Just because the people have forgotten it doesn't mean all the people. It just means the public, like the general public.
my understanding is also that when Ezra returned with what he was purporting to be the Torah,
Yeah.
it was received with a certain degree of suspicion. It wasn't just fully accepted straight off the bat.
So I'm starting to get a little bit clearer. What you're saying is it's recorded, right, that the people of the time had lost it, right, and then Ezra came and said this is what it was,
Yeah.
right, and therefore and you believe that it's probably changed a bit and redacted a bit, and the reason why you believe that he changed it is because you can see that it's changed. But it could also be that it was changed before and he just found the scroll and gave it to them, right? You would agree with that?
My recollection is that he wasn't. So I've heard that there's an oral tradition
Yeah.
that Ezra was not in possession of a scroll.
Yeah.
He took some of his scribes,
Yeah.
left the people, as in went to a more isolated location,
Yeah.
where he came under the influence of some sort of divine influence, and then started spouting the Torah. At which point they
So
started.
can we have a date? When is Ezra?
The time of Artaxerxes, so it would be like I don't want to misspeak, but I think around 450 BCE.
Because there's other issues that he's brought up, that all the concepts of heaven and hell.
Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, but so the thing is, you don't know how much it's changed. Heaven and hell is not in the Bible.
You said it is in the Old Testament.
No, you asked if they
But I
It's
didn't
not
ask
in
if
the
it's in the
Bible to
scripture.
–
Moses.
no, but did they believe? Because his claim is that…
Well, how are you going to know if they believe in it? If there's no, you would assume that they didn't, unless you, well, not you can't assume either way,
Yeah.
right? But if there's nothing in there, we can't know. There's no, we can't know that they believed in it.
What he's claiming is that his religion, basically Judaism, was formed basically from his religion.
I know that. I know
Yeah.
his thing, but I don't really understand. Like it seems like I can't really get to the bottom of his evidence for that.
And because
Yeah.
we mentioned the sacrificial system, which he said himself that they reject that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did the Jews come about with this sacrificial system when if they were under the influence of the Persians or the Pharisees, which
Is he coming back?
I think so. I think he went to
Well, I mean, I kind of want to discuss with him. There's no point.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean,
just talking about some of the stuff when you were not here was discussed.
Yeah,
I'm
go on.
just
Okay,
trying
right.
to Just give you what his views are, and I think
Yeah.
you've spoken to him before, so we wanted to get the Jewish perspective on camera.
I'm
on
not
some
a
of this
scholar.
stuff.
It's not my. I don't delve in
your
that.
expertise,
It's not
I know.
my interests. But I mean, I come to Speaker's Corner, and so if there's an interesting topic, I'll join in. But I'm just curious to know why he believes that.
But according to you, what was the significance of the sacrificial system, like the blood sacrifice, according to you?
I don't understand the question. To me, it's just that the God commanded to give sacrifices, so you're serving. It's a way of sacrificing to serve God. I'm not really sure the question.
But
The
why
blood sacrifice.
what was the atonement?
No, there's not one thing that you're.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pull the pin on the grenade and run off.
There's not.
Why are you looking at me?
You're a handsome man.
All right, he's a good man. He's a clever guy. This is a clever man. Just put that on record, please, Sam.
So
He's a clever
what did I
man.
miss?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I forgot what I got distracted a little bit. What was I saying?
Sacrifice. What did the sacrifice
Blood
was about?
sacrifice.
Blood, or there's another
Yeah.
purposes
About
for sacrifice?
what the purpose of sacrifice was. So,
Zoroastrians would have seen that as demonic.
yeah. So,
They were trying to make it less demonic.
But then, why did they leave that into Judaism when this was demonic to them? Since they
wait,
had
let
the
me
influence.
quickly address
on
about
the
sacrifices.
Jews.
What I understand sacrifices is that you've got multiple different sacrifices. So, for example, you have a sacrifice for atonement, you have sacrifices for holidays, you have all sorts of different sacrifices. And some sacrifices are animals, some sacrifices are like fruit and vegetables and oil. There's many different kind of sacrifices. So I just want to. So he said it's demonic. So I would say when you're sacrificing an animal, right? Most of the time they would sacrifice them and eat them. So if you believe that it's okay to eat animals and it's okay to kill animals to eat them, then it makes sense, right, that to sacrifice it to God. So in other words, you're going to kill them anyway, but to do that as a blessing for God, as something for God, it makes a lot of sense. So I don't know how that would be demonic. So I just wanted
But
to.
that's the important.
No, for the
part of
forgiveness of
Jewish-
sins is
Yeah.
what the implication is.
But what impact would that why would that have an impact on whether you're forgiven for a sin or not?
Well, I can answer that, but that'll be a Christian answer, and
Yeah.
you're not looking for that.
You're free to give your opinions.
But how essential was the sacrificial system in Judaism?
So how what?
Like how
Important.
important was it in?
It seems to be very important because the whole serving of God was through the temple,
Yeah.
and a massive part of the temple was sacrifice.
That's
Yeah,
right.
thank you,
So
yeah.
it was very
It was
Yeah.
pivotal.
You could say it was I don't know, pivotal, but yeah,
It
you
was
could say
a yearly event.
Yeah.
You could say it was
For
a
the
daily
forgiveness
event,
of
a yearly,
Israelites.
a daily event.
Well, wasn't it like once a year that they had the goat for Azazel and a goat for
Oh,
Yahweh?
so okay. So that's no, right. So there's the point. So when you're talking about sacrifice, there were some sacrifices that were just killed, right, and they were not eaten. They weren't slaughtered. So that's the one sacrifice that was not slaughtered, right? So maybe his point about being demonic on a regular sacrifice doesn't make any sense to me, right? But if he was to talk about that, then you could have a
No,
discussion.
he's
about
just saying that
But the idea-
their philosophy considers any kind of
I
sacrifice.
understand. I'm just commenting on that comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my perspective would be that to atone for sin, one would just live less sinfully.
No, the thing is that sin has to be atoned for, meaning that it's a debt to God.
I'm just saying.
Because who are you sinning against? Hold on. Hold that thought. Who are you sinning against?
Yourself.
Huh? God. Sin is always something that you do against God.
It's not really the. This
wait.
is quite an Abrahamic way of looking at things.
Okay, so if your way,
No, because the Zoroastrian
Mosaic,
God
not
is
Abrahamic.
well. The Zoroastrian God is not prescriptive. It is not tyrannical. It created the universe, and you're.
it's like an absentee father.
And,
Just,
but then you have a choice between good and evil. It's not like. I mean, it's described in some passages as an affront to the Creator to live an evil life. But how you atone for it is by
the whole
by
concept
resist.
But hold it a second. Do you
wouldn't
mind?
exist
But the
if there's
idea,
no
hold
God.
on, but the
evil
idea,
concept would not
the idea
exist.
of a blood sacrifice, or the idea of an animal sacrifice to atone for it, is entirely arbitrary.
Hold
it could
on.
be just
No,
like
it's not.
cut a tree down
No,
to
it's
atone
not.
for sacrifice.
No, it's not.
Cut the
Hold-
grass to
hold
atone
on.
for sacrifice.
Hold
it could
on.
be anything.
Hold on. The whole idea of evil would not exist if there was no God. Do you understand? The whole concept can only exist if there's a God.
But that doesn't change the point I'm making about
No,
the-
it does.
the
It does.
atonement.
Because when you commit a sin based on this evil and there's a God, then that sin becomes an affront to God. It becomes something
I'm
you've
talking-
done.
I'm talking
You've
about-
gotten into a debt now to God because you have done something against Him.
That is your word.
That is the word in the Bible, by the way.
The sacrificial system was
Yeah,
very
it's like
important.
paying your debt.
You're straw manning my position.
It's not about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
New
saying
Testament point of
that
view, it is
Judaism
about
is
Right,
Zoroastrianism.
because they
You didn't mean
I
that
know
it's
that,
Or
yeah.
that
No,
Christianity
because they
is
said blood
Zoroastrianism.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And
they
it
would
didn't
just be
really
called
click, because I don't
Zoroastrianism.
know
I'm saying
exactly
that
what
a
that means.
religion which was
That's
heavily
right.
dependent
Exactly.
or
And the reason
reliant
why-
on
You're right.
sacrifice
And the reason why-
was reformed,
Yeah, you're right.
but sacrifice was not reformed out of it. However, there are also passages
Yeah.
in the same passages where
See,
the
thing is, I
Persians
don't
are
know the
introduced in the
term,
biblical
I mean, it
narrative
rings a bell.
where
But
they are
now that
rebuked.
it's blood
They're
sacrifice, now
rebuked
I've
for their
realised doing
burnt
Jesus.
sacrifices.
No, but it's
So
not.
I'm saying even then there is a challenge against the act of
Who were
sacrifice.
rebuked for their burnt, for their
I agree.
sacrifices? Who?
No, I agree.
I think it's in, it might be chapter 44 if I'm not mistaken. There is some rebuking by God of like what value are your burnt sacrifices?
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
God
That's
doesn't need your
So I'm
burnt
saying
sacrifice.
there is even a challenge.
Right,
But
right.
I'm saying you can.
God is tired of your
But I'm saying this act
sacrifices.
of
Yeah,
reformation
something like
of
that.
the
Yeah.
Jewish religion
Yeah, no,
was
you're
not
right.
to beat out every aspect of Jewishness, but it was to bring it more in line with the type of religious thinking that the Persians felt was righteous. That's all.
It can't be because you have zero. You have zero. You're
Sharing
the
is caring.
foundations, and he's clearly said the most important, or one of the most important things is that that sacrificial system.
I understand.
And so it can't be like what you say is for like what is salvation, faith, and all of these things. It's completely unrelated to your religion.
The thing is, I don't
and that's
really
the foundation
know
of
it's
Judaism
really to do with Christianity.
and Christianity.
Well, he didn't say it's the foundation of
But it's very important.
I'm saying there can be lots of important aspects, but there can be some that were originated in ancient Israelite belief, and there can be some that were introduced. The introduction of a new one doesn't remove another one necessarily. So this idea of sacrifice may be a historical one, a very old one, which wasn't removed.
Yeah, goes to my point.
But it
That
doesn't mean that new thinking could not have been introduced to the Jewish tradition. Why not?
What was
because it would contradict the
Yeah.
old thinking, and
Yeah.
the old thinking remained. The idea of sacrifice remained.
Yeah.
If there was a new idea that was thinking that the new idea says there's no sacrifice, God doesn't like sacrifice, then that idea would have been adopted and gotten rid of this.
No, that's not. That's just you're just creating an arbitrary
Because that's a very
standard.
no, it's not
Heaven and hell,
arbitrary.
okay.
Their whole thing was based on their whole
Heaven and hell
the
is not
temple
in the-
sacrifice thing was very important to them.
Not in the Jewish Bible, as far as you're
As
aware.
far as I remember, as far as I know, it's not in the 5 books of Moses.
But do you believe in it?
It doesn't matter what I believe. In Judaism, modern day Judaism, they believe in it, yeah.
But they believe in it.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not in
Rabbinic
the,
Judaism
it's not
believes
in the 5 books. Heaven and hell is not in the 5 books, but they believe in it. Do you know when that idea?
No,
became-
absolutely no. No, I have no idea. But my
So
guess
it's not
was
in the
at time-
5 books,
in terms-
but they believe in it.
But David did speak about Sheol, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to
heaven
say
and
Sheol. The problem is that Sheol is not really is in the depths.
Yeah,
It's not
I know.
really
If I'm in
defined
the
very
depths
well.
of Sheol,
It's
that's
not-
what he says,
yeah,
right?
but the problem is it's not defined. Number one, it's 2 problems. Number one, it's not defined very well. Number two, that's not the 5 books of Moses. David is way after.
Yeah,
is way
David
after
is
Moses.
Yeah. But
It's way
it's
after
part
Moses.
of the Torah.
But there's a difference between having an idea introduced in a single word, right, which can be cultural and something, and having a whole ideology. That's 2 very different things, right? So if you just got a single word, you don't have an ideology. You can't say, oh well, they must have always had that idea, right?
But did they believe in? Did they have a concept of salvation?
Did they have a concept of salvation? See, the problem is that you're using Christian terminology.
That's why I said a concept. Is there anything from your
Concept. He's trying
understanding?
to qualify that as concept.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Okay, so let me think. So in the Bible it says that if you follow my commandments, right, in Shema, right, you know Shema. If you follow my commandments, things will go well. If you don't, things will go bad. So God doesn't say.
How would it
There
go
was a
bad
very.
if there's no hell?
Hold it.
How would it go bad?
Hold it a second. Just let me make a point. If there was an idea of heaven and hell, surely God would say, if you do bad, then you're going to go to hell. If you do good, you're going to go to heaven. The fact that he didn't and he brought physical things shows that in the time of the 5 books of Moses, right, there wasn't this context of this idea of heaven and hell. Right, because there would have been a good place to put it, right? Does that make sense? So the fact that you have the word Sheol in what's his name? I mean, if we have a modern book today, right, and on Judaism, they're going to bring modern ideas into it. So any idea that's around, they're going to use. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's part of Judaism. It's just that they're going to use the idea.
So can you tell me what Genesis, where God is talking to Eve and saying that the one will come from your seed who will crush the head of the serpent? Can you give me your interpretation, your Jewish interpretation of that passage?
I don't understand the question.
Are you familiar with the story in Genesis where after they have committed this sin, that God is sentencing them and then giving them some warning or giving
Punishment.
them
Punishment.
and also after the punishment he's giving them some hope by
Okay.
saying that look, there will come one from your seed who will crush the head of the serpent. How do you interpret that?
I don't understand in the context of heaven and hell what you mean.
Not in the context. I'm just asking you outside of that.
Why does it
because-
need to be interpreted? It just says what it says. Why does
So
it
what
need
is
to be interpreted?
what does it mean to a Jew? What does that verse mean to a Jew?
It means what it says.
What does it mean?
It means that humans will be more powerful than snakes and they'll crush their head. I don't understand the question.
Maybe you're powerful
Like they
than the
can.
snakes and they'll crush the head.
Well,
of the
the thing. Well, the thing is, snakes are on the ground. Yeah, so they
Are you not familiar with the passage? Should I bring it out and read it?
I am. Well, I'm familiar with it. I don't know if I know. I can't say it word for word.
Because it
But
sounds
I am
like when
familiar
you're
with it.
interpreting doesn't mean that that's not what it's saying. It's saying that there will come one from your seed to the woman's seed, who will crush the head off
The way we were
the
talking about
serpent,
it.
not these serpents. The serpent, meaning there is a character that it's
No,
referring to.
we have never heard such. I've never heard of such
Sorry to
concept.
interject. So
It's in your text.
It says the serpent.
Yes.
The way I was taught about it, it means. You asked me how I was taught about it.
Sure.
You want to know? You don't want to?
Yeah, go.
Okay. The way how I was taught about it means that they originally the snake was much more powerful, right? And it lost its legs after the sin as a curse. And because that it was on the ground, and therefore humans would crush it. So it means they lose their power. It was a punishment to the snake. That's how we learned about it.
Have you ever looked at Genesis yourself? If I pull up,
I never analysed it. But
I know, because this is very, very
What do you
crucial.
mean you know? I'm telling you, I never analysed it.
While
You
I was
know.
over here, I had one ear on the conversation, and see, leading up until this point, you had been kind of imposing that sacrifice is also an important aspect of the Jewish tradition when it comes to salvation. But I believe that's not the case.
Yes, it is. The
Salvation.
She asked me about salvation, and I said, I don't know. What do you mean by salvation? So, for example,
they're all
we have
confused about this.
it in what did you just say?
I said you are all confused about
I'm
this.
confused now. So
No, you're imposing Christian views on the,
Oh,
Ju-
come
on
on,
the
man.
Jewish tradition.
You and I have had this conversation.
what I said was so the Shema is very famous. So in the Shema it says, if you follow my commandments, right, everything will grow and it'll be good, and if you don't, everything will be bad. These are very physical things. So
Wait, where does it say that in the Bible?
In the Shema. In the Shema.
What is the Shema?
Hear, O Israel, God is one.
Yes,
It's the very most
yes.
famous prayer. So
Yes.
after that, there's a
Christian,
paragraph.
man, you don't know what the Shema is.
There's a paragraph of Haftar Hashem Lekecha. If you love your God, and then the next paragraph, it says about all what I just said, right? If you go in God's commandments, it'll be good, and you'll get all physical things. So your things will grow. You'll have children. You'll be healthy physically, your body. And then if it says if you don't do good, things will be bad. Right? So it's very, very clear.
Do good deeds.
Do good deeds. If you do not if you do good deeds. If you follow my commandments, that's very
Which is a good
specific. No, it's not a good deed. That's a bad deed. No, I'm just joking. No, it's a
good, okay.
no. It's
Sorry,
not
what was
do
the
good.
name?
Follow the law.
Follow the law.
If you follow the law, so God says, don't do this, do that. If you follow the law, right, then it will be good for you on earth.
Thank you. That actually, because you
And if you
mentioned
do not
about
own
good
that.
deeds and bad deeds again.
Yeah, it's not about good deeds and bad deeds. I mean, obviously, if you're Jewish, you believe that is good deeds. But it doesn't say the word good deeds. It says if you follow the law. It says if you follow my commandments. That's what the word is. Yeah.
Okay.
If you follow my commandments,
So, because there's a couple of things there, but here's something, if you can just do me a favor.
The only reason why I came here was because I've asked him so many times about this thing about
Rabbi, there's no need to be humble.
Ezra, about Ezra, and I haven't got an answer. I thought I'd just give it another try, and then we got sidetracked. So can we delve a little bit into that, right? So far I've asked you a question, right?
Yeah,
And
sorry,
about,
I apologize.
Too close to the tripod, I'm just letting you know.
I'll do my
okay,
best.
can I shall I do this? Is that good? Yeah, I'll stand here. So you said about Ezra. That I couldn't understand the evidence that Ezra, that Ezra created Judaism.
Read the book, man.
Oh, I'm not reading a book. Come on, you got a chance to put it up on here. Just give me the main point.
I'll read it from the horse's mouth.
Oh my God, you don't need to. You remember it. Come on, Nathan. You just get the main
I'm not
point.
very good at remembering.
Uncle
Oh
Sam,
my God.
anti-Islam.
Why do you have to?
What? I could just read the summary.
Okay, you should have this on the top. You've been here for
Christian is Jew.
I'm anti.
My friend, Nathan, I just have this Genesis 3:15.
Is that a battery?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Genesis 3:15. If you could just do me a favor and read these 4 lines for me.
Genesis 3:15.
Yeah, loud and clear.
I'll put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Okay, go on, yeah.
All right, cool.
So
So,
what's
your rabbis have told you that this just means what? What is God talking to the
These are
woman in this?
punishments. These are punishments. Okay, so the woman will be punished, and the snake will be punished. They did a bad thing, and this is the punishment forever. That's
Okay,
what. That's
there will
what,
come
that's
one
what
who
we're
will
taught.
crush. Okay,
Okay.
offspring of her. Why is he talking about the offspring? That her offspring will come and crush her head. Its head, the serpent's head.
Because their offspring. Look, when Adam and Eve, they sinned. Not only they were punished, but all the offspring were punished.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't just a punishment for. It wasn't like, oh, you did something bad. No, it was all their descendants, because they were the first human beings. Right? So all their descendants were punished.
So were they
So,
covered
for example,
their sin,
Cain and
was their
Havel-
sin covered by skin of an animal who was sacrificed? That was the first sacrifice in Eden when they were clothed. Were they clothed by God according to Genesis?
No.
Yes, they were.
No.
No, when they saw that they were naked.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did God clothe them
No.
with the skin of animal? Yes,
No.
it's in Genesis.
I never read that.
It's
Okay.
there.
I never read that.
Do you want to give me the synopsis for this book?
Do you want to read? Do you want to get it?
So it's
Yeah, go
Ezra,
on, why not?
Ezra
Yeah.
and the Law in History and Tradition by Lisbeth S. Freed. So, an in-depth examination that separates the historical Ezra from the biblical legend. The historical Ezra was sent to Jerusalem as an emissary of the Persian monarch. What was his task? According to the Bible, the Persian king sent Ezra to bring the Torah, the 5 books of the laws of Moses, to the Jews. Modern scholars have claimed not only that Ezra brought the Torah to Jerusalem, but that he actually wrote it, and in so doing, Ezra created Judaism. Without Ezra, they say Judaism would not exist. In Ezra and the Law, in History and Tradition, Lisbeth S. Freed separates historical fact from biblical legend. Drawing on inscriptions from the Achaemenid Empire, she presents the historical Ezra in the context of authentic Persian administrative practices, and concludes that Ezra, the Persian official, neither wrote nor edited the Torah, nor would he even have known it. Whoa, it's even harsher than I claimed.
Wow, that's terrible. I
The
didn't know
origin
that.
the origin of Judaism, so often associated with Ezra by modern scholars, must be sought elsewhere. After discussing the historical Ezra, Freed examines ancient, medieval, and modern views of him, explaining how each originated and why. She relates the stories told about Ezra by medieval Christians to explain why their Greek Old Testament differs from the Hebrew Bible, as well as the explanations offered by medieval Samaritans concerning how their Samaritan Bible varies from the one the Jews use. Church fathers, as well as medieval Samaritan writers, explained the differences by claiming that Ezra falsified the Bible when he rewrote it, so that in effect it is not the book that Moses wrote, but something else. Muslim scholars also maintain that Ezra falsified the Old Testament, since Muhammad, the Last Judgment, and heaven and hell are revealed in it.
Oh wow!
In contrast, Jewish Talmudic writers viewed Ezra both as a second Moses and as the prophet Malachi. In the process of describing ancient, medieval, and modern views on Ezra, Freed brings out various understandings of God, God's law, and God's plan for our salvation.
Wow, this is
Okay.
your guy, right? Or the lady?
Lady, yeah.
Ah, okay.
She writes in the
Comments,
Harvard.
Nathan, on this,
She also writes in the Harvard Theological Review, by the way.
Yeah, that makes her religious.
What's the discussion
How
on?
it is all woke, man.
Well, I mean,
The invention of Judaism.
so the thing is,
okay.
yeah, I
And you
mean,
don't want to do this discussion down the pub, no? You like it in the rain and the cold.
This is
Fred.
okay, so I mean, look, you've been coming to the park for years, and this is something you often talk about Ezra. Yeah,
I think he's been here for years.
you should be. Yeah, of course he's been here for years. Cyrus is the grape. He's the man. If he can't do it, no one can. So you've been coming for a long time, and you should be able to have the evidence for that on the tip of your fingers. You shouldn't be need to reading a summary. That doesn't bring any
It's become a bit of a
evidence.
side issue for me.
Oh, okay, it's not your main issue, but it was for some time, wasn't it?
It's just like recreational reading.
Come on, Cyrus. Look, I'll tell you something. If I would come to Speaker's
Oh,
Corner,
you should see my daughter's
I make a
story
claim.
times at night, man. It's like,
Cyrus, if I,
so Ezra the scribe.
do you rap about
Once
it?
upon a time.
Do you rap about it? Ezra the scribe. Anyway, if I were to come and make a claim in Speaker's Corner,
There should be a rap remix
I would
of the Bible.
I would know
no?
the evidence for it. I wouldn't like read a summary that makes a claim that without the evidence.
yeah.
I think we just stumbled into the topic, to be honest.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I think
So
it's really-
in brief, you don't know. You're just relying on that on Mrs. Freed. Was that her
I
name?
mean, what gives you so much confidence in this one?
This time
lady
next week, I will have
versus-
looked at the same archaeological evidence
Yeah.
to which she refers.
But
and
I
I'll
mean,
let you
she
know
does.
how.
She does bring one thing, which we can at least for a minute talk about, which is that the which group of Jews? Not Jews. They were Samaritans. The Samaritans have a different Bible that we have. Now that is interesting. That you can look at the differences and see
the reasons
what
why.
the difference is. But I wouldn't say that. Supposing, since we don't know, we're just gonna make some things up. Supposing the differences are quite minor. Yeah, you wouldn't say that Ezra invented Judaism. And let's also assume that Ezra made the changes, which we don't know. At least not now. But let's assume that's true.
There's a lot of assumptions, but if we're just dealing with lots of assumptions, then
These assumptions are helping you. They're not helping me, trust me. Okay, so I'm trying to help you out here. Okay, but let's assume all that's good, right? And you have all those evidence, which you don't, right? But let's say you did, okay? But let's assume you have
know
all
what I
that.
know.
Let's assume I asked you for evidence. You gave me you start reading out a summary with no evidence.
Fred's already got an hour and a half out of me, man.
Okay, anyway, let me get to the other point. So even assuming all that is true, yeah, it's still, Ezra wouldn't have invented Judaism. He would have changed Judaism, minorly.
I think it's slight hyperbole. I think it just means. But
So it took me 3 hours to get that it's hyperbole.
No, but I think by invention,
Well, not 3
invented
hours.
it
Okay,
means.
Nathan, this is the verse, by the way.
It
that
means
you asked me for.
So slightly changed.
in its current, like in its
It's slightly changed
familiar
it.
form.
All right.
Why is this
As per the
relevant?
biblical
Why is it
interpretation of Gen. Oh, I thought you were going to give me a
The
The verse is
verse.
there. Just
Outside
read it.
influences on.
God produced Genesis 63:21.
3:21.
God produced coats of
The Old
skin
Testament is so many beliefs.
for the first man and woman,
Yeah, that's
Adam
in
and Eve,
Genesis
and clothed them when they were
it's a
found naked
different
in the Garden of Eden. I wonder if there's two stories, because I think there's two stories. So, for example, I think in the first story, it says that he said you're naked.
Other cultures.
Sorry, he said where are you? And then they realized they were naked, right?
It's right here.
And then they put clothes from the leaves. That's what I remember.
No. That okay.
That's
Let
what I
me correct you. Yes, I know what
So
you're
is
doing.
that because it
It's
tells
part of the
story
story.
twice?
Let me complete. Part of the
Oh, so
story
it's
is
one story. Okay, so it's one
yes,
story.
it is one story. This
Okay,
is
go
part
on.
of the story.
Yeah, go
So
on.
when they found that they were naked, they put leaves on them. That's where the term fig leaf comes from.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's a fig leaf meaning
Oh, and
you're
then afterwards.
afterwards,
okay.
and this verse just tells you.
Ah, okay. And what was your point about that verse?
The point was that they were sacrificed from the beginning. The whole thing about your religion and mine is the sacrifice, blood sacrifice to cover sin. This was an animal sacrifice to cover their sin.
Wait,
The
it's clothes.
first time.
It just clothes.
Yes.
How
it's
is
animal
clothes?
skin?
Yeah. So how is the fact that they put animal skin?
Yeah, that means there was a sacrifice done for the animal
Well, it
skin.
doesn't say that.
Well, it says the
You
skin
know, we
of
have a
animal.
joke.
Oh,
Let me
are
tell you
you
a
saying
joke.
that there was skin of animal that God was just keeping in the closet
let me tell you a
without
joke.
any animals being sacrificed?
Let me-